Hi everybody, welcome to our Meet the Author session with the one and only Josephine Davies, or Jo Davies as we know her.
Thank you.
Here at Ultimate Finance. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So we're here to talk about your books.
Yeah.
A sprinkle of Christmas magic, The Adventures of Benny and Zoom, and there's another one there which I'm sure you're going to tell us about in a little bit. But I mean, first of all, it's super impressive that we have a published author in our business. How cool is that?
It's very exciting. It is really exciting.
Super exciting. So
I'm very proud.
As well you should be, but I suppose first and foremost, where did this idea come from? Tell us where it originated.
It probably sounds a bit cheesy, but many years ago, so this all started when my kids were in primary school. They're now 19 and 22. Okay. So this has been a slow burn. And it was raining and we were in our caravan. We had an old Volkswagen camper van and they were colouring and drawing to pass the time. And they said, I asked them to write a story and they said, can you write a story about us on the camper van? So I did, and all kids like stories when they're in it, it's exciting. And I wrote them, and then I wrote another one, and I wrote another one. And they just were in a drawer for ages, and every couple of years, I would bring them out and I would look at them and thinking, actually, one day, and my kids used to say, just make it into a book. And I went, you can't just make it into a book. It's a little bit more complex. Anyway, I kept looking at it. I know a couple of people who have published books and I've been talking to them about it. And then I was speaking to Emma Booth actually, and she was saying, if you could do anything in the world, what job would you do? And I said I would be a children's author. And then I was telling her about the book. And she said, so what's stopping you? Yeah. And I was like, probably the fear that people won't like it. And I thought, do you know what, I just need to try, because if I don't try, I'm never going to know.
Yeah, wow.
And regret the things that you do, not the things that you don't do.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah, gosh. But you say, it's quite a journey from going to having an idea in your head and having these stories in a drawer somewhere. Yeah. But tell us a bit about the process of how they went from, you putting pen to paper to becoming, something that's published and selling well on Amazon.
So it's not the easiest of journeys, because you write to publishers and they write back and say no thank you. And you're like, what do you mean? It's a brilliant book. Why do you not want to?
Baby. What are you doing?
Why wouldn't you want to publish it? And then the more people I spoke to who had published books, the more I realised actually that's okay. J.K. Rowling, which I'm not comparing myself to, but had a zillion knockbacks before she published her first book. So it kind of actually, even great people get a knockback. So I went through a few publishers. What was really key for me is the illustration, because these camper vans are based on people I know, and they all have a character behind them. And I didn't want to give my story to somebody and say, right, could you just illustrate that? And that's what happens a lot. Yeah. And a lot of people are happy to give that over to somebody else. But because it had been around for 10 years in my head, I couldn't do it. So I found this publisher who would be happy to do that. So they do my drawings. So I've got very rough drawings at home, but I'm not an artist, unfortunately, otherwise I could have done it myself. And that's why I went with them, because it worked a bit more for me.
Yeah. Amazing. And you say, these characters are, we're going a bit off script here, but we'll go over it. And you say these characters are based on people you know. So, and obviously that's why the illustration was so important. Do you feel like the characters of the people come out in the stories as well?
Yeah, they do. And as more stories come out, you'll see more of the characters. Okay. So Benny and Zoom are my sons. So Ben is quite sensible. He's the older one. Zoom is my son Thomas, who is a little bit more adventurous, shall we say. So they're in the stories. Yeah. And when they first came out, a load of people said to me, I can't believe you picked one son and you didn't put the other one in it. And I was like, but Zoom was his nickname. Oh, okay, so that was, rather than using his full name, he was always called Zoom. So when I wrote the stories, way back when, we called him Zoom. So there is a method in that madness.
Absolutely. Oh, amazing. So we'll talk about a bit about inspiration here, and you've talked about, you know, other authors and actually, you know, just getting over that fear. But I suppose, where does a lot of the inspiration come from for this? Are there any other authors who inspire you in particular?
So Julia Donaldson is my favourite. Although, I don't like all of her books. So as much as I think she's brilliant, and I used to love reading a lot of her books to my kids, but the stories are all based on something. So A Sprinkle of Christmas Magic is based on when my kids were at primary school. We did Santa in a camper van, and we pretended that Santa's sleigh had broken. So Santa came in the camper van, and it was a bit of a twist. So this is a twist on that story.
Yeah.
The Mischief on the Farm is about camper vans not always getting on. That was based on my kids and my nephew. Sometimes they played brilliantly, sometimes they were a nightmare. So every different story that I've done relates to something that has happened.
That's happened, yeah. I suppose as well, you know, you talk about that's where they've come from, and you know, they have great fun. Benny and Zoom, there are some fun adventures in there, but there are some sort of hidden messages in there as well, aren't there?
Yeah,
Tell us a bit about those.
So when my kids were little and they used to read stories, or I would read to them, they wanted fun and action. And as a parent, fun and action is great, but actually if they can learn something along the way, then that's twofold. So in each of the stories, there is a moral that actually it's not okay to be mean to people. So they have a bit of fun, but sometimes you need to know when to draw the line, and there are consequences to behaviour. Further down the line, there's a story about a camper van that goes to scrap. So that's about loving a camper van and losing a best friend, and how you can remember, and it's okay to laugh and be sad at the same time. So there's lots of different journeys along the way, more of a journey as in an emotional journey than a driving journey.
Amazing, yeah. That sounds as well like, you know, there's something to keep adults invested as well and wanting to read them to their kids.
I hope so, yeah.
Yeah, amazing. So you've got these two out at the moment?
Yeah, these two are both out on Amazon. Benny's Big Bump is out in 5 weeks' time, hopefully.
Okay.
Yeah. And then the third one, which I'm changing publisher and illustrator for, is called Duke His Last Beep. That's a bit of a sad one.
Okay.
But it's good, but it's a little bit sad.
Okay.
But when I was a kid, I had a book about a little traveller boy, and it was a very, I used to cry, and my dad used to say, I'm not reading it to you because you cry. And I'm like, but it's my favourite book.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that kids are going to cry, but actually I don't think emotion in a book is a bad thing either.
No, absolutely, yeah.
So we'll see how that one goes now.
Exciting. So lots in the pipeline.
Yeah.
But you're doing something a bit special in October, aren't you? Tell us a bit more about.
Yeah, so I'm really excited about this. So one of my best friend's daughter died 2 years ago, and they're being supported by a charity called Be More Ben, and they help people who have after the death of a child, so anybody under 18 years old, and they've been a massive support to her, and when someone so close to you loses somebody like that, I can be there, but I feel like sometimes it's not enough. And I figured, as I've got this opportunity, and Ellie loved Christmas, and she went to her school prom in our camper van, it seemed like a good book. So I've reached out to various different people, BBC Bristol Radio being one, and we're going to promote it. So any of the Christmas books sold in October, all royalties will go direct to Be More Ben to help them fund the activities and the support that they give to people.
Yeah, that's amazing. Such a wonderful thing to
really
do.
I'm excited about that. I think
that'd be great.
Should be good, yeah.
And so this is not your only interview this week. You're being interviewed by BBC Radio Bristol as well.
Yeah, tomorrow morning.
Exciting.
7:30.
Only way is up.
I know. So hopefully that. So there's already some cafes. So Ultimate Finance are going to buy a book and do a Christmas colouring competition, which they do every year, but they're going to buy the Christmas book. And that gave me the idea that actually other businesses could do the same. So this month I will be writing out to what feels like a zillion different companies. Already there's a couple of companies who have said yes. Bristol Rovers are interested, Bristol
great.
City are interested. So if we can get some of the big guys interested, they buy a couple of books and advertise it at the same time, then hopefully we can raise some money for a brilliant cause that hopefully none of us are ever going to need, but some people do, unfortunately. So.
Well, it's an amazing thing to do, Jo. So yeah, I'm sure no one will judge us if we say please go and buy copies of Jo's book and support Be More Ben during October, because that would be a nice thing to do.
And if people buy it direct from me, it still goes to them. So any time between now and the end of October, then the royalties will go. But anything bought off of Amazon, it will just be October, because that's a bit more complex.
Amazing. And just to finish, you've talked about, you know, what's in the pipeline, what's coming up. How far do you potentially see the Adventures of Benny and Zoom going?
So it depends really. So I've written 8 books.
Okay.
4 are being published. I guess it depends how it goes, really. So, you know, I'm not looking to make $1 million, and I love doing it. So I'm unsure, but for now I'm loving it. So
yeah,
that's the main thing.
It's riding the wave.
Yeah,
amazing.
Absolutely, yeah.
Brilliant. Jo, thank you so much for talking to us, for giving us a bit of an insight into these wonderful stories that you've written. And yeah, all the best for October and the fundraising. But thank you very much.
Thank you, Jo.
Thanks, everyone.